Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all here today to view my multimedia presentation, which is on a field trip to the Burren. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, everybody, I'm going to begin now with something that us teachers like to call a hook. So I want you all to pay close attention to this image in front of you. And into your worksheet, I would like you to jot down exactly what you can see from this photograph. What does this picture tell you about the Burren? Okay, I want you to keep this image in mind as later in the presentation we will talk about the assessment element of the field trip, and part of the assessment will be for one of your peers to draw a sketch map. So I want you to keep this image in mind as it will be very useful later in the presentation. Okay, now let's take a look at the learning outcomes for this field trip. What exactly are you, the students, going to learn from this field trip to the Burren? So firstly, you will discover the karst features that the Burren has to offer. You will discover the caves that lie beneath the Burren with a guided tour, and examples of glacial action can also be seen in the Burren. Students have the opportunity to develop and practice skills such as gathering, recording, analysing and interpreting information. Students can also incorporate the senior cycle key skills into the field trip by working with others, communication and processing information. And finally, students will be able to understand how the subject of geography can be linked with other subjects. So in a later slide, I will be discussing the cross-curricular element of this field trip and how geography can be linked with other subjects, and in this case we are talking about history and science. So why have I chosen the Burren as a place to visit for this field trip? Well, that's a very good question, and there are many reasons behind this. First of all, it is a curriculum-based field trip, meaning that anything that we learn and discover during this field trip will be of benefit to you, the students, for future studies. Secondly, the Burren National Park is located in the southeastern corner and contains approximately 1,500 acres of land in total. The park land was bought by the government for nature conservation and public access. So the Burren is one of the largest and most accessible karst regions in the world. So that's very important, that the Burren is actually accessible to us as visitors to the site. We will also be able to observe the extensive limestone features as mentioned previously, and we will also be able to view examples of glacial action in terms of glaciated valleys, moraines and erratics. And finally, we may also get the opportunity to explore the caves beneath the Burren with a guided tour. So one of our learning outcomes for this field trip was the fact that we can link other subjects with each other. This is known as the cross-curricular element. So for this field trip, we are visiting the Burren as part of a geography field trip, but we are able to link it with subjects such as history and science. So the history element of the field trip would be the fact that there are many wedge tombs and megalithic tombs present in the Burren, and they date back and prove to us that people lived in the Burren far back as between 5,000 and 6,000 years ago. One of the more famous megalithic tombs dates back to around 2500 BC. Carbon-14 dating was used to date artifacts found in the Burren. The scientific element would include the rocky seashore and woodland ecosystems, which are available to study at both junior and leaving cert levels. Both ecosystems are ideal for identification of a wide variety of plant and animal species and to examine distribution and population size of these species. Let's discuss the assessment part of the field trip. Students must plan and execute a geographical investigation by following the steps below. So students must work in pairs on the day. Students must record and gather important data throughout the day. Students will use the senior cycle key skills of working together, managing information and communication throughout this field trip. One student must take photographs on the day of the karst features that's present in the burn and possible photographs inside the cave. And one student must draw a sketch map from memory after their visit to the burn. All students then will work together in their pairs, analyse the data that they found, and they are all required to write a 500-word report or 2 A4 pages on their findings and incorporate the photographs taken on the day and the map drawn as part of their assessment. Okay, so let's revisit our learning outcomes for this field trip. Students will get the chance to discover the karst features, caves, and various examples of glacial action in the burn. Students have the opportunity to develop and practice skills such as gathering and recording information. Students also get the opportunity to incorporate the senior cycle key skills of working with others, communication, and managing information. And finally, they can understand the cross-curricular element of the field trip. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wrap up this presentation now with a short video clip. But firstly, I would like to thank you all for your attention. I hope you're all clear on what the field trip is about. And I hope that I have explained the learning outcomes clearly to you and that you now understand what is expected from you on the day and for your assessment that follows. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you at the field trip.
The Burren is a unique karst landscape region in northwest County Clare in Ireland. The rolling hills of Burren are composed of limestone pavements with criss-crossing cracks known as grikes, leaving isolated rocks called clints. The region supports Arctic, Mediterranean and alpine plants side by side due to the unusual environment.